Hi everyone. As you saw that for this week's essay, the extended definition essay, you will need to include at least one source, either from an article or a book or a website. You'll want to make sure that the source is credible, okay? But I just wanted to walk you through how to do APA formatting for in-text citations and reference pages, because anytime that you give reference to anything that isn't your own thought, if you need to go look up the definition for something on a website or look up a statistic or anything that does not come from your own head, you have to give credit to the person and the source that that idea came from. That's a really serious rule in writing. And if you don't give credit to them, and if you don't even format it correctly, then that's called plagiarism. And that can get you in a lot of trouble at university. It can even get you kicked out of a university, depending on the rules at your university. So please take this seriously. I don't expect you to have it perfect after this lesson. We're going to continue to work on this over the next couple months. So I just want to introduce you to how to do that today. So you're going to get this book, but um, I just wanted to show you some of the basics, okay? So an in-text citation, anything called an in-text citation, is when you are actually giving reference to the person and the source inside of the essay. Now, there's something called a reference page, and that's your reference page references, and that's a little bit different. So right now we're going to focus on in-text citations, okay? So it's important in your in-text citations, if it's a direct quote, you want to include the author, the year that it was published, and the page number that it was found on, okay? So here's an example. If this is what it is, Krister 2003 noted that many healthcare providers still, and then now they're quoting the direct quote because it's in quotations, remain either in ignorance or outright denial about the health danger to the poor and the young. And that was found on page 5. Now, there's a couple different ways you can do this. If this is how this person decided to set it up, they're introducing the quote, and in that they decided to add the author and the year. Now, if you just want to go straight into the quote, then it might look a little bit different. It might look like this. Oh wait, this is summarizing. If you're going straight into the quote, then you will actually just include in the parenthesis here, Krister, comma, 2003, comma, P.5. And it's important that you use this P dot. That's exactly how it's supposed to be for APA formatting. Okay, so this is for a direct quote. Now we'll scroll down here and you'll see how to do an in-text citation for a summary or a paraphrase. Make sure you guys read the part in the Longman book about how to paraphrase this week, because it's very, very important that you learn that skill. If you don't paraphrase correctly and it's too similar to the original quote and you don't put quotation marks, then that can also get you in trouble for plagiarism. So it's very similar. You can see the author is 2002, and then we put the page number that it was found on. Notice here there are no quotation marks because this was a paraphrase of the original statement, okay? And if you decide not to set it up like this person, you can just put the author's last names, comma, year, comma, P dot, and the page number, okay? There's different rules for if there's more than 3 authors. You can go and read this on your own. If there's more than 6, then you use this et al., which just basically means that there's more than one person other than McDuffie, and you can go down to the reference page to find more information. Here's information for an unknown author. Feel free to pause this video if you need to take another look at it. Let's see, yeah, the organization, yada, yada, yada. I'm not going to go through all this right now. You can go through this on your own time. The most important part is that first point and that second point about how to quote, how to quote when there's one author. And if you do use a source that is more than one author, then just go through and look up how to do that. The nice thing about APA is there's very clear rules for each and every situation that you might encounter when trying to source something. So now I want to talk about the reference page. This is the very last page. Make sure that you do that you create a new page at the end of your essay, and you can just title that references. Okay. Now, let's see here. So here's, if you have a single author, this is how it should be in APA formatting. You put the author's last name, comma, with their first initial, period. In parentheses, you put the year that it was published, and then the title of the book or the article, you want to put it in italics, and the only thing you capitalize is the very first word of the title. Now, if there's a colon, you also capitalize the first word after that colon. Then you go on, you put the rest of the title, you put a period, then you put the place of publication. So in this case, it's New York, New York. And then you put a colon and the name of the publisher. Okay, and again, this goes into more details about when there's more than one author, how to do that. If you're looking at a journal, okay, then you'll, like for example here, we have multiple authors. We have the title, okay, notice for a journal, it's a bit different than a book. It's not italicized, but the journal title is. So that's like the type of journal. Then you'll want to put the volume and the page numbers exactly in this format. Okay. And let's scroll down to show you what this looks like kind of more practically. Okay. So here are the things, if you're looking at a journal online, these are the things you'll want to figure out: the author, the year of the publication, the title and the subtitle of the article. Usually the subtitle is what you put after the colon, the name of the journal or the magazine, the volume number, the page number, and the DOI, which is the digital object identifier. That's usually a bunch of numbers. So this is what this would look like. So first of all, the author, you can see him here, right? We find the author. Second thing we need to find is the year of publication. Where is that? Oh, it's fall 2008. You don't need fall. All you need is 2008. 3, the title. Okay, here it is: an appeal to authority. The name of the journal or the magazine, here it is, it's Next Education. Okay, in very small letters here, you'll see the volume number, the volume in the issue number, which is volume 8, issue number 4. The page numbers, obviously, probably down here at the bottom, you can see this page number 53, and it probably goes on to multiple other page numbers. Yeah, and then the DOI is usually found, you don't always have a DOI. That's only if you find it in like um, a scholarly journal, or if you're using a research database that usually has the DOI. All right, so we have all this information, okay, 1 through 6. How do we put that in APA format? Well, you can see Whitman, comma, D, period. That's his name. Last name, comma, first name initial, period. Year, 2008, period. An appeal to authority, colon, the new paternalism in urban schools, period. You'll see the only thing that was capitalized here were the first letters of that title. And then in italics, you put Education Next, right? That's the name of like the publication. So Education Next puts out a lot of different articles put out by a lot of different names. If you find something from New York Times, then that would be New York Times, right? That's the publication. Then you'll put the comma, you'll put the first, you'll want to put the volume, and then so volume 8, issue 4, and then the page numbers. This article was only found on pages 53 through 58. Okay, and of course that'll look different if it's not depending on if you are using a book or an online article or a paper article. Those are probably going to be the 3 most common things that you'll end up using. If you use um, an online website, just make sure that the website is credible. There's a lot of websites out there that are not credible. For example, Wikipedia is not credible. Anyone can go there and edit. Wikipedia is a really great place to go to find some initial information, but usually if you go to the bottom of Wikipedia, it will show you the different sources that they use, and you can go to the bottom of that and find more scholarly resources. anything you find on Facebook or someone's personal blog is probably not a good source of information. A good way to tell that something is a good source of information is that it comes from a credible source. So if that's a news source, or if it's a research institute, or if it is a scholarly journal that puts out multiple issues, um, then that would maybe be something that you could look at. Like there's all kinds of science articles or Psychology Today. That would be a good website to use. Um, and yeah, so if your source does not have the author, if it doesn't have the year of publication, if there's no title, if the publisher isn't clear, basically if any of these 6 things are hard to identify, then it's probably not a good source of information. Now, some publications might not put the author. If it's a website, it still might be reputable. In that case, go back up here to figure out how to cite something that doesn't have an author. Just use discernment. That's one of those things that will just take time. I might tell you, hey, this wasn't a really good source. I would try to look for something more scholarly next time. And that's okay. We're all learning here. All right. Um, yeah, so hopefully, and this goes into more detail about, if it's from a magazine, if it's from a newspaper, if it's a letter to the article, if it's a review, if it's a book, this is an excellent resource. If you have a question like, hey, Luke, how do I do APA formatting from a book? Well, all of that information is right here, okay? So you can go through and read this on your own at some other time, or feel free to pause this video if you're like, oh, I need that. Okay? Hopefully that was helpful. Like I said, make sure that this week you include at least one direct quote, okay, and one paraphrase. You're more than welcome to get that quote and that paraphrase out of the same source. If you're feeling ambitious, you're more than welcome to look at 2, 3, 4, 5 different sources. But keep in mind, if you find information from a source, it absolutely needs to be cited both in your essay and on the reference page. Okay, so hopefully this was helpful. I know this is a lot of information that I'm throwing at you, but like I said, we're going to be reviewing this stuff pretty much for any essay you write from now on. You'll have an opportunity to give your sources and put them in the reference page. So you guys, by the end of this program, you guys will all be experts in APA formatting. Hopefully this was helpful.